Change was rapidly occurring during the American Revolution. Social, political, and economic changes were occurring in people's daily lives. Boston in particular was undergoing huge transformations in all three areas. The old State House in Boston was a site where immense change was occurring in politics, economics, and social order. These changes shaped the American Revolution. Built in 1714, the old State House had always been a site for political debate and meetings, where they often debated social issues. Within these walls, John Adams, John Hancock, Samuel Adams, and other patriots debated the future of the American self-government and set in motion the American Revolution.
This building was very important to the development of Massachusetts government altogether. This is the place where debates over the nature of government began in the colonial era.
Royal governors chosen by Britain met here with their councils. The General Assembly also met under this roof. It was always a political center in the colony.
Upstairs, where we had both the royal governor appointed by the king and the Massachusetts Assembly elected by the people of Massachusetts. And it's here that the elected officials were representing their constituents and putting forth their ideas about what the limit of Parliament's authority were. So it influenced ideas about government.
Important political events occurred within the old State House doors that have shaped Boston politics today. First, all throughout the 17th century, the State House was the center of political life in the colonies. The royal governors met here with the Massachusetts Assembly. Important political decisions were made here all throughout colonial history. In 1776, these meetings were open to the people. A balcony was built in the meeting room where citizens could watch and use their voice to debate ideas. This was a major turning point in Massachusetts politics. Individual voices could be heard up front and not through a chain of people. You could say what you wanted in your own words. Once the Revolution came around, the importance of the State House skyrocketed. Patriots came here to make speeches against the British, and many protests were held. The old State House was of major political and social importance before, during, and after the Revolution. In 1761, James Otis argued against the rights of assistants with everything he had. Although he lost the debate, it is said that his political debate was one of the flames that set the Revolutionary War. The spark that ignited the American Revolution occurred right outside of the old State House doors: the Boston Massacre. On March 5, 1770, a Patriot mob began throwing snowballs, rocks, and sticks at a British soldier. The Patriots were angered by the new taxes and the mass amount of soldiers sent to Boston by Britain. The soldier called for help, so Captain Thomas Preston called in more soldiers for backup. The Patriot mob kept attacking the soldiers, insulting them and provoking them to fire. To this day, we still don't know who fired the first shot, but one British soldier did, and 5 Patriots were killed. 6 left wounded. Outraged by the killing of innocent men, the Patriots were ready for revolution. Newspapers blew up this event, calling it a massacre. The Boston Massacre was huge socially. People en masse all came together to defeat one common enemy. The people blew up this event to make the British look like tyrants. A strong source of anti-British propaganda was Paul Revere's engraving of the Boston Massacre. It shows the British being complete tyrants, killing innocent people. Revere's drawing is not very accurate, but it had a huge effect on people. After all, Paul Revere was a well-known noble patriot. Why shouldn't they believe him? This was the first blood of the American Revolution and will be forever remembered. This event shaped the Revolution politically and socially. It would cause mass amounts of people to turn on the British and become patriotic. It was a huge step in the independence movement. The Boston Massacre, being the first rebellion, led to the Revolutionary War. This brought America independence and made the U.S. what it is today. Massachusetts was very persistent in the war and fought with everything they had. Once the Americans won the war, they needed to draft a constitution, and where they did this was the old State House.
And it is actually in this very building where they wrote and debated the Massachusetts Constitution. And so this is really where the Massachusetts government was formed, and so it's pivotal in that regard.
Yeah.
After numerous debates, the Constitution was finally agreed upon and signed. On July 18, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was read to the people of Boston from the balcony of the old State House. The colonies were finally free from the British and could elect whoever they wanted to represent them. This was political history. The old State House in Boston was not only a meeting place to discuss politics, it was a place that stood for American independence and justice. The State House was a site where people were free to stand up for what they believed in. Throughout history, the old State House has had a huge effect on the political world and has shaped what the United States of America is today.